I got this video right here suggested to me. The rapper who recorded his own murder. I don't understand why people do this. I mean, even going as far as taking someone's life is crazy to think about. But then to record it, you're basically saying, I want to go to jail for this right here. So without further ado, let's get straight into this. If you guys have any other videos you want me to watch and react to, we can watch them together. Just put the link in the description or send it to my Instagram DMs, which is right here. Let's get straight into this.
What is it that you want to accomplish this year?
Get money. You already know it, man. I'm trying to get the richest I've never been in my life. You know what I'm saying? Right now, if you could see, man, your boy iced out, man. I probably got over 75 bands worth of jewelry on me right now.
It's like going to jail for the rest of your life.
And you need to turn them in, and you need to stand for what's right.
In 2017, Raheem Grant was hoping to propel his rap career to a whole new level. Instead, he ended his year recording his own murder at the hands of someone no one was expecting. Well, almost no one. What really happened at his home that fateful night? And what was his killer's motive? This is the full tragic story of the rap artist who recorded his own death. It was 2017 in Riverdale, Georgia, and 28-year-old Sierra Harp was enjoying becoming a mom to her 3-year-old girl called Angel. Angel's dad, Raheem Grant, also lived with the two, although he and Sierra were not officially in a relationship. Raheem was a talented rapper who discovered his passion for music when he was only 3. First, there were the drums, then he picked up a microphone and started laying down tunes. His career picked up when he was only 7. He would rap for Showtime at Apollo, an educational show for kids. By the time he was a teenager, Raheem worked under the alias Red Beezy. He would mix music for others and make his own tunes too. Eventually, he became a pretty well-known figure in the Atlanta rap industry, and he even opened up for Ludacris. Red Beezy's mother, Geraldine, worked as his manager ever since he was a kid. She fully supported his passion and pushed him to meet even bigger names and make a name for himself in the entire US. 2018 was going to be his first nationwide tour.
Really working with a lot of people, making a lot of connections, you know what I'm saying, that usually wouldn't be made. You know what it is, like real mob connections, dog.
What is it that you want to accomplish this year?
Get money. You already know it, man. I'm trying to get the richest I've never been in my life. You know what I'm saying? Right now, if you could see, man, your boy iced out, man. I probably got over 75 bands worth of jewelry on me right now.
But that was his rap persona. Raheem was also a devoted dad and liked to spend time at home with Sierra and Angel. Raheem and Sierra were not a couple, but after Sierra got pregnant, they decided to have the baby and co-parent her. So Sierra and Angel moved into Raheem's place in a safe, gated community to raise their daughter together. But Raheem wasn't listed on Angel's birth certificate and did not have custody of his daughter. Sierra worked in marketing for local bars and clubs. It was at one of these venues that she met Raheem, who was preparing to perform there on the same day that she was trying to get a job working for the space. The two hit it off on a casual basis, but before long, Sierra got pregnant. Neither of them had children, and this wasn't exactly the perfect situation or time to have a baby. But both were really excited at the prospect. Sierra wanted to be a mom, and she would devote all of her time and resources to raising Angel. Raheem too saw Angel as his opportunity to dream bigger, to make more money, and to work towards something meaningful. Although he looked and spoke like your average gangster rapper, Raheem also spoke out against the violence in the rap industry. He did not want to keep a firearm on himself at all times or get into fights with rival rappers.
Yeah. You can roll the dice, but don't cause you gambling with your life.
However, Raheem was playing two parts.
Lane. 2 cups. All I want, 2 cups. All I need, 2 cups.
At times, Raheem seemed above the industry. Other times, the industry seemed to swallow him. He would behave like his aggressive counterparts and get into the sort of conflicts that get rappers' attention online. One day, he told his mom he feared for his life. More precisely, he said he feared getting offed before he hit 30. On December 29th, 2017, his fears proved right. In the late hours of that evening, a group of officers broke into his home in the gated community of Riverdale where he lived with Sierra and Angel. Raheem's lifeless body was found face down between the bedroom and the bathroom, with at least 3 bullet wounds on his body and head. He was 28 when he was unalived. His poor mother was shocked to learn his fate so soon after what he had told her. Here's where the case gets interesting. That night, law enforcement in Riverdale broke into Raheem's home to arrest him. The officers did not expect to find him dead. At around 10:50 p.m. on
What?
December 29th, Raheem's neighbor phoned 911. Sierra and Angel were at her place, with Sierra bleeding profusely. She was in such a hysterical state that she could hardly piece a few words together. When the officers arrived at the neighbor's place, they found Sierra with multiple jag marks on her legs, screaming, crying, and holding her little girl like she was scared for their life. The neighbor told the officers everything: Sierra's name, age, and what had happened. The neighbor said that Sierra's co-parenting partner, Raheem, was probably responsible for this. She also said that she did not know where Raheem was, as Sierra was in too shocked a state to tell her. Within minutes, the officers rushed to Raheem and Sierra's home, hoping to arrest him for DV. Instead, they found him dead, the victim of an even more violent attack than Sierra. The news blew up on the internet. People were shocked to hear that Red Beasy, the man who claimed to be against violence, was an abusive partner. The detectives had a lot of work to do to uncover what had really happened, as Sierra still wasn't making a lot of sense. First, the forensics team found a knife full of red marks thrown on the floor of Sierra and Raheem's home, but it was inside the neighbor's home that they found the firearm.
But I'm assuming Sierra would definitely have the answers to what happened. They would probably just need to give her some time.
They checked it in the system. Authorities found out it belonged to someone in Raheem's family. However, when the detectives spoke to Raheem's mother, Geraldine, she said that this firearm did not show her son for who he truly was. Geraldine claimed that her son was never angry, not in a violent way. Whenever he got angry, she said, he just walked away. He complained about the rap industry precisely for normalized aggression. He was not the DV type, in other words. So the detectives asked her what she believed happened. Geraldine was quick to point her finger at Sierra. She said Sierra had always been an opportunist and that she was obsessed with her son. Geraldine went as far as to say that Sierra had gotten herself pregnant on purpose so she could stay close to Raheem. As far as Geraldine was concerned, Sierra only wanted to cash in on Raheem's self-made money, and Angel was just a tool for her. These were harsh words, and the theory sounded pretty kooky for the detectives to take it at face value. The detectives preferred to think that Geraldine was in denial about her son's abusive behavior. Many mothers tend to believe anything but that their kid is vile. Sierra was taken to a local hospital and treated for her leg injuries. In all respects,
things happen, but to say the mom was saying that he never gets angry. I think that we all can get angry. Like if something happens, we all can get angry. It's a matter of like recognizing that anger and then reacting to that anger in a better way than, you know what I'm saying, getting violent or cursing someone out and things like that. But it's a normal human emotion.
They looked like defensive injuries, and she was not treated as a suspect. But the detectives did have to speak to her. After all, she was in a state beyond frantic when they first found her on December 29th. Not only that, but she was well drunk, and she continued to fight off the people who took her to the hospital. From the hospital, Sierra told the detectives that the night of December 29th was a bit hazy for her. She didn't remember how the fight started, but she did remember that she was cooking while Raheem was drinking and taking way too much Xanax.
Dang,
she begged him not to do so, as she knew his behavior got nasty when he combined the two. But as always, he didn't listen to her pleas. Not only did he not listen to her, but he was angered by her telling him what to do. So he became violent and started laying his hands on her. That's when a knife fell out of the holster on Sierra's ankle. One might wonder why she was carrying a knife on her ankle, but that is a question for another time. According to Sierra, when the knife fell out, Raheem picked it up and began dragging her with it. Scared for her life, Sierra reached for the firearm, which Raheem carried on him. She grabbed it and fired at Raheem until he could not attack her anymore. That's when she noticed 3-year-old Angel. She had witnessed everything. Despairing over the whole situation, Sierra quickly grabbed Angel and ran out of their home into the neighbor's home. The rest of the night, she said, was a blur. She did not remember what she had told the neighbor or the detectives, and she did not even remember the ride to the hospital. The detectives broke the news to Sierra. Raheem's autopsy had been finalized, and it wasn't looking great. He had suffered 7 gunshot wounds and several small bags to his face. One of the bullet marks was in the back of his head, almost as if he was already dead when Sierra fired one more time. This looked more like a frenzied attack than a desperate defense. Sierra said she fired at Raheem several times blindly, as there was blood in her eyes. As to the jag marks, she said Raheem had probably done those on himself. What? Sierra was not making a lot of sense. Again. Was her hysterical state that night even genuine? The detectives pressed her for more truthful information. That's when she said, okay, there was another witness. It turns out that night, Raheem was hanging out with a lady friend named Elise Jones. As Sierra and Raheem were not an official couple, they allowed each other to date other people and bring them over to their place. According to Sierra, Elise was there when the fight between them started. But when Sierra called for help, Elise simply left the apartment. Later that day, authorities tracked Elise down and questioned her about the incident. Elise said she never witnessed a physical fight. Instead, she was on the couch when Sierra and Raheem went into a back room. She heard arguing and that put her off, so she sent Raheem a text that she'd be heading out, and she left the apartment without seeing or hearing any sort of violence. More clues were pouring in, and it was looking less and less credible for Sierra. Around the same time, Geraldine spoke to law enforcement again, and she mentioned something crucial. She said she once told her son to keep his phone with him at all times and record anything if he ever feels like he's in trouble. So the detectives knew they had to look for videos on Raheem's phone.
So comment down below right now, who do you actually think initiated things to start getting physical in this altercation here? Because it's seeming like it could be either or. The girl, Sierra, could have been mad because he had a girl over, or the dude could have been mad, like got upset because he was like drunk and on Xanax. I don't know. This thing's getting fishy, but comment down below. It's seeming like the girl probably initiated it and started getting physical. Let's see though.
There was a slim chance there might be some explosive evidence on it. Detectives had already seized Raheem's phone as soon as they secured the crime scene, but the phone was passcode locked, and as they couldn't get in, they just left it in an evidence locker. Funnily enough, it was Sierra who gave them the passcode, believing the officers just needed one last minor thing to close the case. Raheem had recorded his own murder, and Sierra gave the detectives what they needed to arrest her. The first video on Raheem's phone, dated December 29th, showed Raheem in the bathroom with his face covered in red. He told the Mirror that Sierra had done this to him. He said he was in extreme pain and could not believe the mother of his child had done this. Sierra could also be heard screaming from another room. Then the video captured the first bullet Sierra shot into Raheem, with the latter falling and dropping the phone into the floor. But the phone kept recording. The detectives could see Sierra enter the bathroom and yell at Raheem. That was not all. She was wearing shorts and her legs were unscathed. Yep, unscathed. That means she did not have to defend herself. She made those marks afterward to cover for herself. There was something else that she did to cover for herself. When she noticed the phone on the floor recording everything, Sierra stopped the camera. Then she started another recording, claiming that for the entire 4 years of their situationship, Raheem had been a monster partner to her. Raheem was still alive and could be heard telling Sierra not to do this. He warned her she would go to prison for the rest of her life. Sierra's response?
If I go to jail for the rest of my life.
Sierra fired several more shots. With his last ounce
she's
of
crazy.
power, Raheem said he was going to die. Then he asked Sierra for some water. His last words were, "Can I hug my daughter?" Sierra replied, "You can crawl to her, motherfucker." Then Sierra fired into his head 2 more times.
Yo.
There were 13 minutes of footage on Raheem's phone, and they were deeply incriminating. To add a layer of horror to it all, poor Angel had witnessed everything. Sierra was of course confronted with the video evidence. Shockingly, she doubled down on her theory. This was self-defense. She had to stop the abuse. efforts. It was not her fault Raheem was a monster. On February 22nd, 2018, almost 2 months after the incident, Sierra Harp was arrested. At this point, something else was revealed. Just 1 month before Sierra took Raheem's life, Raheem asked to have full custody of Angel, and Sierra had signed the papers. So why did they not go through with this? Sierra's hearing was a media circus, with both Sierra and Raheem's moms going ballistic on Sierra.
How mad do you have to make your own mom to have her ask the judge to sterilize you? This murder case is taking family drama to new levels, pitting a mom against her own daughter.
If Sierra had only unalived Raheem, that would have been bad enough. But to do it all so coldly and callously in front of your toddler daughter, well, that's extra.
You're psychotic at
We,
that
the
point.
family,
You're psychotic.
asked the court to sterilize Sierra Harp to prevent any more children being born. We also asked for the highest punishment of life without parole.
This was Sierra's own mother.
Envious nature took control and
Wait.
you murdered Raheem for moving on without you. You repeatedly hurt the family, our family, and all the people who ever tried to help you.
It was a harsh lecture from a hurt mom who claimed to have tried to help her daughter for years. Never mind her efforts, Sierra continued to behave antisocially and unkindly towards all those who loved her. As she listened to her mom, Sierra cussed her. Yep, no conscience or remorse there.
You reveled in disrespect,
That's crazy.
foolery, and ignorance. Wherever you went, chaos and trouble were sure to follow.
Sierra was sentenced to 125 years behind bars. That's just another way of saying she will die in prison. Before hearing her punishment, Sierra apologized to Geraldine and asked the judge for leniency.
And I throw myself at the mercy of the court. I truly apologize and I'm very sorry.
But what
She out here cursing at her mom in front of the judge. Yo, to think about the fact that she must have been so unruly that her own mom was in court basically justifying for her having a lifelong sentence. That says a lot, because that means the mom definitely tried, and that means that Sierra has done a lot to her mom.
she apologizing out of remorse or because she was hoping for a lighter sentence? Her last words to Raheem are so chilling that it's hard to see Sierra as a warm, remorseful person. Geraldine spoke after Sierra's sentencing. She said if her son was ever abusive, this is what Sierra should have done.
You need to come up and you need to turn them in and you need to stand for what's right.
It's true. Murder is never an option. If Raheem was ever violent towards Sierra, there were a million things she could have done before that. And if he was violent, why did she sign the papers agreeing for Raheem to take custody of Angel? Were Geraldine and Sierra's mom right? Was she just a jealous, bitter person angry that Raheem did not want to be with her? How could she take his life this way, in front of Angel? Speaking of Angel, she was shortly taken by CPS while the investigation was going on. Now she's being raised by Sierra's mom. She's in the safe hands of a loving family. But will she ever overcome the horrific trauma of losing both of her parents in one night? Sierra Harp will be forgotten in prison, while the rest of her family will forever struggle to understand her demented reasons. Hey, thanks for watching. What are your thoughts on this case? Do you know similar stories?
Bro, that's so freaking sad, bro. The fact that now, not only did the daughter experience all of this, she was within this environment, the energy, absorbing all this trauma, actually seeing it. Now she's 3 years old. She's most likely going to remember that, because that's like a very, very like crazy experience just to have. Now she doesn't even have parents, bro. She's probably being raised by one of their grandparents, but that's like trauma that is lifelong, bro. So, crazy video right here. Make sure you do smash the like button, subscribe, turn on post notifications so I can catch you guys in the next video the same way you're going to catch me in the next video. Peace. Love you.